What's going on with the Arizona Cardinals? Have they done something to irritate the football gods with all of the injuries, specifically their rookie classes, not only this year, but in years previous, and a six-pack of over-unders for 2026 on today's NFL Six-Pack?
This is Locked On's NFL Six-Pack. 6 bold takes from 2 guys who just flat out know football. NFL experts Matt Williamson and Brian Peacock bring pure NFL talk. Great takes, no fluff, just honest football talk. Crack one open. It's NFL Six-Pack on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the NFL Six-Pack. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson. Today's mailbag episode, and we've got a lot of great questions here. We've got a little six-pack inside the six-pack, looking at some over-unders for the 2026 season, thanks to one of our listeners. We've got to begin, though, Matt, a lot of conversation about Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers. And what really is the thought process for teams as they cut down as well, which is going to be a big topic of conversation going forward in the next couple of weeks after the third preseason game. Everyone's got to get down from 90 to 53. It's a whole lot of football players looking for work in the span of about 48 hours. But let's go to the Arizona Cardinals here first, Matt. And I got a question, which goes right along with what we're talking about here from Michael, frequent listener and tweeter into the show for our mailbags. And by the way, at BD Peacock, at Williamson NFL in the YouTube comments is where you can get those questions in for every week's mailbag, or give us topics or anything you want to hear about, talk about, or feedback for us. Let us know. Michael says he's specifically talking to me because I think he already knows the answer about how I feel about this one. But he says, how do you feel about drafting running backs in the top 3 and then overusing them in week 1 of the preseason? If there's any way to not build and run a football team, that would be the way to not do it, in my opinion. And it's not because of the talent of someone like Jeremiyah Love, who touched the ball, I don't know how many, 20 times in the first preseason game. Mike LaFleur said something to the effect of, their data shows that the running backs who get a lot of work are better as rookies. And so they're giving their running backs a lot of work in the preseason, and Jeremiyah Love among them. I don't know if the data that shows him what the injury rate is for running backs would counteract any of that. But man, and someone who's already really good that probably doesn't need that much work. But man, this is crazy, and it's not just Jeremiyah Love, and it doesn't look like it's a big time injury for Jeremiyah Love that he actually said he could have gone back in the game, but he has been out of practice.
I have heard high ankle sprain since then, though.
Have you? And I didn't check this morning if there's something brand new here, but
I think he's getting shut down for the preseason, which is probably good to keep them out of their own way.
For sure, yeah. And the whole process, it's like, what are you even doing? But it's not just Jeremiyah Love either. That one you can kind of see coming. It's like that was mismanagement, and we can talk about drafting a running back number 3 overall. That's already been done. So he's on your team, insanely talented. Love seeing him run the football. He's big, athletic. He's trying to hurdle everybody. He might need to calm down a little bit on that and just find space a little bit more in the NFL. But he's like playing Madden out there. He has the athleticism to do it. I mean, he's a stupid athlete. So Jeremiyah Love, the player, awesome. The process of where the Cardinals are right now as we reach the end of August. Don't know if that's ideal for them if they're trying to hoist the Lombardi Trophy at some point in the near future. But Jeremiyah Love got an ankle injury that he's dealing with. Chase Bisontis, it has been confirmed now, a torn MCL, their second-round guard, who looked good in his first action as a pro in the preseason game. Carson Beck had a rib injury from the Hall of Fame game, and he wasn't able to play in the next preseason game. And then earlier on, before camp even started, their 4th-round pick, Caleb Proctor, torn meniscus out for the year. So that's their first 4 draft picks, all injured right now. We're only in the second week of the preseason for the Arizona Cardinals.
And of course, they're all early picks in each round because the Cardinals stink and probably will stink again. But I hated the Love pick. I know you dislike the Love pick. I thought the usage of Love was as foolish as you can get. Of course, there's some bad luck involved here too. But I kind of looked at the Cardinals offense and thought, Paris Johnson's a really good left tackle. They signed Siamalu at one guard, draft Bisontis at the other one. That is a pretty good beginning, for the next quarterback or Beck or whoever. skill guys look real good. Love, McBride, the receivers, so it's like, I can see this being a really nice nest. Maybe one offensive lineman in free agency and either go to Beck or more likely take Arch Manning with the second overall pick or whatever. And as is the case with bad organizations, it just seems like things crumble even when they have some good ideas, like the offensive line situation or at least building a nest. But the running back stuff is just foolish, and you kind of get what you deserve there.
And going a little bit further on the Jeremiyah Love thing, and yes, you're right. High ankle sprain is the latest, and he is out for the preseason. Week 1 status still in question as well, because a high ankle sprain can be month.
It could last for a while, man.
Right. And it's actually, there was a study reference this offseason that I saw, and it surprised me a little bit. I guess it shouldn't have, but the single injury that has caused the most missed games in the NFL is
high ankle. Doesn't surprise me. I've had 2 of them. They last forever. Like, I'm not an athlete. I mean, I just destroyed them playing basketball, and I still feel them now, They can linger all year and they'll play through them, but like, it's a fantasy huge red flag for me when I see a high ankle sprain.
And so a high ankle sprain too, it's kind of like the name of it sounds softer than it is. It's a broken leg essentially, right?
It's what, from I understand, the 2 bones that connect, what are the tibia and fibia or whatever, basically they just like pull apart.
Okay. Yeah. So it's less of what you think of as an ankle sprain and more like, a more significant injury to your actual leg bones and not necessarily your ankle. So
you would definitely rather break your ankle for sure, because they just heal in like 6 weeks. And
because it's a bone and it heals, and that's that.
Yeah. It's just like put a cast on and it heals and you're done. You'd much rather break your ankle.
Ooh, interesting. So yeah, that's even worse than I thought for. And apparently after the game, his head coach said I could have gone back in the game. That would have been an even dumber thing to put him back in the game on a high ankle sprain. Apparently, it was much worse. So
you said you checked some data about the high ankle sprain being the biggest injury. I wonder what data Arizona's using on, if you use running backs like crazy, they get hurt less and it's better for them. Like, what kind of logic is that?
I clearly any job, any position, trying to learn how to play guitar, piano, the more reps you get, the better you're going to be. Like that's not an argument. Of course, sure. But there's a reason
someone doesn't hit you with a baseball bat.
Right.
Like every time you pick up the guitar, they hit you with a baseball bat. Maybe you got to pick and choose when you practice.
Yeah. Maybe only practice guitar when you're alone and not in a crowded room where people beat you while you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Right. Or exactly.
So interesting bit of data there, and I would love to see what study they're referencing and what the reason was to think that they needed to overwork, which was obvious. It was like as it was happening. This wasn't like look what happened in his hindsight. This is all real time talking about drafting a running back number 3 overall. Mm-hmm. Awesome player, super talent. I think he's gonna be great in the NFL, and then real time during the game. Should he still be in the game? Why is he seeing so much usage right now early in the preseason? And then now here we are, and now it's all 4 of their first picks, which is unfortunate for the Arizona Cardinals. And it's not new because we saw Walter Nolan last year. We saw Darius Robinson the year before. Like, this is a common theme for the Arizona Cardinals with their rookie classes, which is, again, like there's no substation to blame here. With the Jeremiyah Love thing, you have something you can kind of point to at least, but the other stuff is just like really bad luck. And I don't know what Bidwell did to the football gods, but the Arizona Cardinals had just been under their neck has been getting stepped on here throughout the recent history in the NFL.
Speaking of Bidwell, though, and maybe this is unfair to their analytics department or front office or way they do business, but I don't think it's an accident these bad teams, the Browns, the Jets, the Cardinals, stay bad. Did whoever he hired to do the analytics and coach them up on running back usage just terrible at his job and the cheapest guy he could find, or what?
Yeah, that's a great question. And every organization values things differently, has different people. I'm sure there's a lot of really smart people with really great degrees and experience, but some stuff it's like you got to pass it through a filter at least a little bit, and maybe I do think, and we see this in the scouting process all the time. It's like, well, some GM or coach will stand there after the draft and be like, we don't care what other people rank these players. We care about our consensus inside the room. And it's like, well, maybe you should. care a little bit more because there's some wisdom in crowds. And
yeah, there's a lot more
if
people
you have bad ideas in a small group of people, it's going to turn out bad for you. So just make sure, like, have some second opinions out there.
It'd be different if you were right all the time. If you're the Eagles saying, I don't care what everybody else thinks, it's fine year after year. But when you're the Cardinals and lose 1 million games in a row every year, maybe you should reassess things. And
especially since it's so counter to what is painfully obvious about running backs in the NFL, about overusing an early guy. There's the other most common thing for getting hurt is ramping up quickly, right?
Yeah, right.
Age. I just saw this recently because there's been so much talk about the 49ers and their injuries, and that's going to be the next thing. Age, injury, or age, previous injury, and then
history.
Quick ramp-ups in workload are the 3 most common reasons a player would get hurt, right? And so clearly it's not age for Jeremiyah Love, but first preseason game, first action, here's all the touches. Come on.
I mean, this is a much longer conversation. We even had it post-draft. I can understand drafting Love that high because he's just the best football player out there in a bad draft. You didn't pass on Joe Alt. I mean, you didn't pass on Penei Sewell. I wouldn't have done it. I crushed the pick when it happened, but I at least see that logic. And then I would have never played him 1 down in the preseason.
Well, you play him a little bit, maybe
a series,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, come on. We don't have to go down this road, but I do think it's a cop-out, too. It's like, he's the best player in our board. It's like, okay, we'll draft a kicker number 1 overall. He's the best player, right? He's got a 99 overall Madden rating. Draft him number 1, right? And so at some point, you have to factor that in. And
you have to.
Drafting running back number 3 overall, we have seen it unequivocally. It does not get you closer to winning a championship, period.
Nope.
So there you go. And if he's hurt, it's especially not going to help you out. Next, let's talk, speaking of injuries, about the San Francisco 49ers versus MetLife Stadium and more in our mailbag 6-pack.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Ross Jackson, host of the Locked On at Saints podcast, and today's Locked On episode is brought to you by our friends at Baskin Lather. I've been using Baskin Lather's all-natural, 100% organic hair care products for my beard for a couple years now, and it's been a lifesaver because I used to have some bad beard care habits. I'm talking over-the-counter shampoo and the beard type stuff that created this brittle, scratchy, and uncomfortable beard that I just had to wear around all the time. But now the game done changed. Thanks to Baskin Lather, I got their beard care starter kit, which gave me shampoo, conditioner, oil balm, and their hair growth stimulator formula as well. And now my beard is full. It's soft but strong, and the confidence is on 10, and it's all thanks to Baskin Lather. Explore viral bestsellers and products of healthier hair of all types from Baskin Lather. Go to baskinlatherco.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON for 20% off. That's 20% off at baskinlatherco.com. Code Locked On.
All right, here we go. Let's keep it going in our mailbag here. I teased the injury thing, and one of our listeners wants to know, jokingly, who comes out on top with the San Francisco 49ers versus the MetLife Stadium field. And while I get the joke, it's kind of crazy what's going on with MetLife too. Did you see the injury to Jamal Adams?
I know. I kind of felt bad about that because I think his career was starting to kind of finally the league caught up with the safety linebacker hybrid types, and he was starting to be kind of useful. And he's never worth 2 first-round picks or the first, top 5 type of draft pick. But I thought, man, maybe he's going to find his footing with the Vikings. And now, he's shot.
He was just a little bit early coming into the league because this big safety / linebacker, the Nicky Man Warrior role, man, Jamal Adams was custom built for that coming out of college. That he ran 4.3s. It's easy to forget how athletic this dude was. He was a monster on the football field and really good early in his NFL career.
Gave him 2 first-round picks for him.
Yeah, but by the way, 49ers substation versus MetLife Field is right now the Cardinals. Whatever's going on with the Cardinals mojo is right now beating both the 49ers electrical substation and MetLife Field. But there seems to be something bad going on with all of those. The substation one is wild, but MetLife we already know it's just a bad surface. Period. And the Cardinals, bad luck plus bad decision making. So
they're all making strong cases though for knocking dudes out.
In all serious. all seriousness, though, let's go to JDS here, who says, last week you said Kittle was a first ballot Hall of Famer. How does he compare to Kelce? For sure, who is in, and Witten, who is not yet in the Hall of Fame. I've definitely called Kittle a future Hall of Famer. I don't know about first ballot. I think of first ballot more as a baseball thing, but it's definitely become a football thing as well, about how soon a guy gets in versus just getting in.
It might have been me that put him that said the words first ballot. I don't remember that, but I've said for 2 or 3 years that in the tight end pecking order all time, I think Kittle might be the most underrated guy out there. Like, for me, he's like a top 5 type of player. I mean, Gronk's 1, and then I think he's in that next tier. So for me, I think he is a Hall of Famer. I would put him behind Kelce. Kelce's got the rings and, the catches and the longevity and all those things. But I'd put him ahead of Witten in terms of their cases.
Kelce's for sure getting in. That's not a question. And statistically, he's getting close to Tony Gonzalez in most categories. Certainly in championships, because Tony Gonzalez doesn't have one. But he's obviously going to get in. And the unfortunate part of this conversation is Kittle has work to do, because statistically receiving numbers is going to be very important, almost so important that the blocking doesn't matter, which is sad, because it should matter.
Awful, yeah.
And because if you were lining up, you could make the argument that you would want George Kittle prime ahead of Travis Kelce prime, because Kittle can give you so much as a receiver and is so much better of a blocker. He gives you an advantage on every play more than Travis Kelce. But unfortunately, we're talking about the Hall of Fame conversation. That's not going to be as much in the discussion. Although he will get some credit, he still has to have the receiving numbers.
I know. And to me, that's a little unfair, because I think the beauty of Kelce is there's no answer. I always said this about Gronk. People thought I was crazy when Gronk was in his prime, that I thought he was the best non-quarterback of any offensive player in the league, just because there's no answer. Like, if you're going to play light personnel, he's going to mash you as a blocker. And Kittle, I think, has a lot of those traits too. If you're going to play heavy personnel, he's going to run past a linebacker for a 30-yard gain over your head,
And unfortunately for Kittle, the only guy with fewer receiving yards than him in his career that is in the Hall of Fame is Dave Casper, who played, fewer seasons. And he's where are we at here? Right about the same amount of time. He's only had 5,000 receiving yards, which is about half as much as everybody else that's in the Hall of Fame right now at the tight end position. But he's got a couple of titles. He was a 4-time first-team All-Pro, which I think is a big one right now. Witten and Kelce are tied with 2 first-team All-Pros. And Witten right now, I love this Hall of Fame meter they have at Pro Football Reference that looks at numbers and compares them. And right now, Witten is above the average Hall of Fame tight end in the Hall of Fame meter scoring, which is like you need 100 to get in, essentially. And the average Hall of Fame tight end is at 99.
Okay.
And you have the average Hall of Fame tight end has 1 championship, 3 first-team All-Pros, 7 Pro Bowls, started for 10 seasons is what it looks like that one is, and has essentially 8,075 receiving yards, which Kelce will pass, or which Kittle will pass this year. Witten has passed it by a lot. He's got 13,000 receiving yards. And essentially, when you start looking at the numbers, Witten belongs in. Kittle has some work to do. If he gets 2,000 more receiving yards in his career, gets to 10,000, then you lock him into. And I think he'll probably get there. Can he get, he's coming off the Achilles though, age 30.
Yeah.
And he was like a 5th-year senior coming out of school. So, he wasn't like a 21-year-old rookie in the NFL either. He was 24 years old. So he might not have as much time as some other guys to accumulate stats, but essentially 2,000 more receiving yards for George Kittle. He's just over 8,000. He gets to 10,000. Lock it up.
That's 4 skill players or 4 offensive players that are Hall of Famers for the Niners right now.
That's the way I look at it.
On offense,
I think the toughest is McCaffrey, because
I think he goes.
Him
and Henry to me are the backs of this generation.
Oddly enough, the best case for McCaffrey now to go is that Roger Craig just went in.
Oh,
and Craig was kind of that classic.
But he had to wait forever.
Yeah, he had to wait 30 years or 30 years basically since he was done playing. But he had the receiving ability. Mm-hmm. He didn't have the numbers total, and McCaffrey's probably going to be in that, depending on how long he plays. He might just continue to play for 8 more years. I don't know, but he's 30 now. He's missed some seasons already to injury. His total numbers might put him a little bit short as a pure runner. So again, it's kind of like Kittle, where you have to count all-purpose yards. You have to count the receiving, but he'll have a better case probably when he's done than Roger Craig, and Roger Craig got in as a dual threat guy. And so that will probably help Christian McCaffrey. But for sure, Trent Williams is in, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Mike Evans is probably the second most locked in guy on that roster right now because of what he did for 10 straight years. So, 49ers probably have 4 future Hall of Famers on offense right now, 5 including Brock Purdy, of course.
Well, a little early for him, but yeah,
right. Next, let's talk over-unders. We got a good question about some over-unders around the league. Really quick before we get to that, though, to finish this segment, I want to go to a really good question here from Smooth Dave, who talks about the 53-man rosters and the cutdowns. And I know we've been guilty of it on Locked On 49ers. He says, we see guys ripping it up in preseason and then fret over whether they'll make the 53-man roster. But there are 1,184 NFL players cut in a 48-hour window. How rarely does a cut player become an impact player with another organization? How's the NFL so good at keeping the right guys?
Yeah, I mean, you have these extended training camps, so you do have, and practice squads certainly help in terms of keeping guys around that you can keep monitoring. And you know this if you follow a team like you do the Niners or I do the Steelers. There's some dudes that have decent camps that you know aren't going to make the team. I always call them I hope they're in Latrobe next year, guys. I want to see them one more year and maybe they get another crack, but they're not going to make the team this year. So bring that dude back. And they don't often hit, but I don't know. I still think one of the things that we do when we concentrate on a team is worry about that 53rd guy way too much. Because there's times he gets a congratulations, you made the team. And then the whole league cuts everybody, and then he gets cut the next day because there's somebody out there that they didn't expect to get picked up, or one injury away from you're off the team, you're going to the practice squad. I mean, it's pretty volatile.
Yeah, and you always think that these players that look good in your preseason are going to get swiped up by another team.
Doesn't happen often.
A lot of times it's shocking how few actually do get picked up, and some do, and then the ones that do get claimed. Not that often do they become superstars. It's definitely happened, but it is a rarity. So we probably shouldn't fret as much about that 54th guy. Most likely he's going to make it back to your team's practice squad. And if he does get picked up, he's got an uphill battle to even be relevant on the team that picks him up versus the guys that were already in camp.
And in the end, you probably don't cry about him, even if he got picked up by your rival, because he isn't that great a player anyway. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of examples, but to keep it close to home, like James Harrison's a great example of the guys who he's smooth as Dave's talking about. I think the Steelers cut him 2 or 3 times, and the Ravens cut him once.
Yeah.
But that is so rare.
Was Welker cut originally?
I don't know. He was a 2nd-round pick, wasn't he? Or they gave up a 2nd-round pick for him.
Oh, he was he was a trade, and he made it right away. Okay.
What's weird about Welker is nobody knew what a slot receiver really was, and they traded a 2nd-round pick for him in the division from the Dolphins. And then the same offseason, they got Randy Moss. That's a kind of a crazy underlying story of that offseason.
And just a quick little search of some of the best players ever that were originally released or cut early in their careers, and James Harrison does come up here in the top 3, and the other 2 are quarterbacks, Kurt Warner and Johnny Unitas. Cut by the Steelers.
Yeah, he grew up around here.
Yeah,
they didn't think he was good enough. Right.
There you go. Good job, Steelers.
Yeah, nice
Come
job.
on. What are you doing? All-time great. Next, over-unders for the 2026 season. Today's episode of the NFL Six Pack is brought to you by FanDuel, and it is almost real football season. You can find a number of ways to bet on the 2026 season NFL at FanDuel.com. But for baseball fans, if you think you know who's going to hit a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. Super easy to play. Just make your free pick on who you think is going to hit a home run in their game today. And if you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the Major League Baseball season. Daily Dingers is just another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team or just keeping an eye on matchups across the league. Every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the opportunity to make your prediction before first pitch for free every single day, and see if you pick right. Sometimes you maybe just ride the hot hitter, right? Or maybe you pick a guy can go deep in any at bat, or you just look at the matchup and say, oh, this pitcher is very likely to give up a long ball against this lineup today. So what are you waiting for? Are you ready to play your game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer, play ball, and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. All right, here we go. We got a mini 6-pack inside the 6-pack here, and this is.
By the way, I love this idea. If you guys should build 6-packs for us.
Yeah, give us a 6-pack, and this is a 6-pack of over/unders for the 2026 season here by our buddy Michael, who's frequently getting involved in the show. So we love that. And again, at BD Peacock, at Williamson NFL in the YouTube comments, if you have an idea for a 6-pack. Hit us with it, and maybe we won't even wait. Maybe it'll be an entire episode. We've done that when it's not even a mailbag episode. This is from Michael. Let's run through these. Over under Miami Dolphins win total. It's set at 2. Matt, you going over 2 or under 2 wins for Miami Dolphins? 2. Going over?
2's remarkably low.
2's so low that the only way you can win is if it's 1 or 0. That's why I don't like it.
Right,
but I don't think there's. If you put it at 3, I'd probably take the under, to be honest with you. But 2, it
should be at least at 2.5, Michael. All these over-unders, if you put them at a solid number, the chances of getting to 3 is better than 1. And if I push it 2, I'm definitely going to take the over. But if you put it at 2.5, you got to think about it a little bit.
Because even the worst teams, you got to go back to what, the 2008, the Lions that ended up drafting Matt Stafford. Right. For teams that couldn't get to 2 wins, it's very rare.
I mean, you might play a team that turns the ball over 5 times and just has a bad day. You might play a week 18 game where they're resting all their starters. Mm-hmm. You play the Colts when Taylor Jones and everybody's hurt or whatever. And you play the Jets twice.
New coaching staff sneak attack week 1. You don't really know how to play a team yet. You don't know what the Dolphins are going to look like. Maybe they sneak in a win early. We see this with a team that wins week 1 and then loses 10 straight weeks.
And week 1, it's 110 degrees on South Beach, and the team's just dying.
Right? You always talk about it, and I forget about that early season Florida advantage.
Yep.
Number 2, over under Myles Garrett sacks 22.
Over.
Ooh.
I'd even set it at like 24.
So there's part of me, and you've talked about this before, it's like, how often did the Browns even have a lead where he could pin his ears back and go get the quarterback? And
I know.
It's a good point. But at the same time, I think he was a little bit playing for the name on the back of his jersey more than the name on the front of his jersey last year. So
that's a good point.
Maybe he'll be more gap sound this year than he was with the Browns last year. 22 is a pretty big number. I'm going to go under.
I'm going over, because the other thing I throw out there, in addition to the lead and just being on a better team, not that the Browns defense was really good, but I do think the supporting cast is better, especially if Donald's back. But at the surface, I think it's hard to rush the passer if you're a Brown or a Bear in like sloppy mud.
I mean, that's scary, though, if we still haven't seen the best of Myles Garrett.
I know.
And how about this guy next to him? Over under on Aaron Donald's sacks. He's had 2 workouts. I'm going to go under on this one, too, because I don't know that Aaron Donald has convinced himself that he's going to play yet. Why does he need 2 workouts? Why does he need all this time to figure out if he wants to play or not and work himself into shape with official workouts? And something seems off there with him. And who knows, maybe he doesn't come back. Maybe when he does come back, he's such a role player that he doesn't get to 10 sacks. So I think I'd have to go under here.
Did Michael put the number at 10?
10 for Aaron Donald, yeah.
Even if he signed today, I think I'd go under.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's why I went under on 22. It's just like Garrett himself has only done it 1 time.
I know. I just think he's at the height of his powers.
Over under Fernando Mendoza starts for the Las Vegas Raiders 6. So their bye is week 13. So if that's when he's inserted, he would not get to 6 starts. Which is
so I understand the Brady influence, and he's going to be disciplined with this stuff. And it's a great plan to start Cousins, but I don't think they're going to win many games. I think when they're 2-5, it's Mendoza time.
Over.
Yeah.
I'm going over on 6 starts for Fernando Mendoza because he's a more ready prospect too than maybe some raw guy that wouldn't be able to operate the offense by midseason.
I mean, I always use this example, but I remember when Blake Bortles was drafted with like the 4th overall pick, the first thing the GM comes to the podium and says, well, he's going to sit all year. That's our plan. I think he started week 3.
Right.
They got blown out twice.
Sometimes they're like, I don't care if he sits. Trey Lance was a great example. He was like, he might sit for 3 years. He wasn't even on the roster in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
I'm always going to take
he scored the first touchdown of his rookie season, though, too. Trey Lance did.
Really?
He was inserted in the goal line and scored a touchdown.
I'll always take the first round quarterback that doesn't start week 1. I will always take the over on their amount of starts for their rookie year.
Yeah.
It's
Number one
coming.
pick that's ready to play. Look good in his first preseason game, too. So you don't have any. Yeah. How about Brock Bowers staying with the Raiders? Receptions over and under 127.
I got to go under. That's a pretty obscene amount.
Yeah, that's he could for sure go over, but that's a really nice season already. I think you have to go under on a huge number like that. I wonder what the real over under is on that, or if there is one.
I've been talking about Bowers, and I think he's clearly tight end 1 in fantasy. I think he's going to get 1 million targets, but I also think a tight end's a little easier to bracket and double than a receiver, and he just has no receivers to take away attention from him. So I think I think Bowers could like set records a year from now. If Mendoza's in his second season, they draft Jeremiyah Love. Or not Jeremiyah Love. They draft Jeremiah Smith or somebody like that. Bowers could just get a lot of singles, and I think he'll have a huge year this year, and I think next year he'll go insane and set like tight end records.
What I'm looking at here is the over under that you might be able to find depending on. I'm trying to find if they have it on FanDuel or not, but it might be somewhere around 82.5. In which case, I might like that because I think he can blow that out of the water. Just all he has to do is not miss a bunch of games. But 127 is huge.
Yeah, don't get hurt. But
last one here. This is Michael's favorite. Over under Jets defense interceptions. It's set at 1.
Which would be an improvement.
So the last time they had one, by the way, was week 18 of 2024. So they had 0 last year, which is why it is set at 1. 1.5. I might get close to the action, but they got to luck into 1 this year.
So Michael's awesome. He writes the show. He follows me Steeler stuff as well. I don't know if this one you were obviously kidding, Michael, the last one, but I do think you need to adjust your numbers a little bit. I love your idea of giving us a 6-pack of over-unders, but these were a little too easy.
They're a little too easy because I think if you put it like this, here are my predictions, no more than 2 wins, 127, over 127. Those would be kind of bold predictions, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, they were I think most of those were pretty easy to pick. I think that
he may have been kind of being funny with a few of them too.
Right. Absolutely. And we love that. Bring the jokes if you got them here. We love it. We love having a little bit of fun. It's not that serious. We're talking about football. We're talking about sports here every single day. It's supposed to be fun. A lot of fans do get worked up over stuff and get really mad about some things. And I get that's why they're, fan is short for fanatics, but we can lighten things up here occasionally too. We are just covering sports here. Don't forget that. This is supposed to be an escape from all the things that make you angry and all the mundane things that happen throughout your day. So don't forget that. So we appreciate that, Michael.
Good stuff.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Matt is taking another kid to college. So we're going to skip the show tomorrow. We'll be back talking preseason football, talking about all kinds of things to finish up our week here, and talk to you then. The NFL 6-pack.